Okay, so we're going to work on exploring the question, what is pattern? And we're going to explore these through a series of videos and a series of pieces that you're going to create. So this is really just the beginning. So we're going to go with pattern is a repeating unit of shape, form, line, or it can be a combination of shapes, forms, and lines that are also repeating. So we're going to look at examples so that this hopefully makes some more sense to you before you dive in and create your own patterns. So what I want you to write down in your sketchbook right now is, what shapes do you see? So you can try and name them, or you can also do a little bit of a sketch as to what are you looking at right now. So next, I want you to think about, is this a pattern? And then you're going to defend your answer to that. So you're also going to jot that down in your sketchbook. So I want you to do a quick sketch of this piece on the side. You don't need to do all of it, so you could just do one or two of these kind of little archway pieces and a quick sketch of the fish, just so I know what you're referring to. And then you're going to say, yes, this is a pattern because, or no, this isn't a pattern, and then tell me why you think it's not a pattern. So you're going to hit pause and answer that, and then come back and hit play once you have that finished. All right, so this is a little bit of a project overview for where we're going to be going so that you can see how things are going to connect together. So throughout this project, you're going to be creating 3 different patterns, and then you're going to be taking your favorite one and turning that into a repeat pattern, which we're going to get into later. But you're going to be learning about representational pattern, non-objective pattern, and then typographic pattern. Today, we're focusing on representational pattern. So, what is representational pattern? Representational art or pattern, it can also be figurative art. Those are all kind of interchangeable words that you might hear. They reference objects or events in the real world. Let's look at some examples. So this is an example of a representational pattern. So we can look at these and we can name them as leaves. Now, they're definitely a little stylized, meaning the artist took some liberties in how they're being designed, but we still can look at them and say these are leaves that are repeated to create a pattern. So a really important thing to think of when we think of pattern is that things are being repeated. So here we're seeing the shape of the leaf being repeated. It varies some in the size, it varies some in the exact shape, but we're still seeing this general idea of the leaf being repeated. We're seeing another shape being repeated to create the stem, and then there are even shapes within the leaf that are repeated to create the leaf shape itself. Here's another example of a representational pattern. So we're seeing the ginkgo leaf, and it is repeated over and over again. And then one more example. This one is, we see flowers and we see some leaves that go with the flowers. So we still see that it all references nature. Again, this is a little bit more like that first example, that it's definitely stylized and the artist has kind of been playful in their use of color and how they're layering it. But we can still look at this and say, this is an example of flowers. Now that we've looked at some examples, we're going to look at how you can start to play with creating your own representational pattern.